Just sorting my supplies out there for the week. Hopefully that lot will see me through. Welcome to the office, the smallest room in my house, and the kind of room that us UCers spend way too much time in. And I know I spent far too long sitting on this particular throne here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jim Miller, and I'm the author of a new book called King of the Porcelain Throne, which is an insider's guide to ulcerative colitis, and is now available exclusively on ihaveuc.com. Adam has asked me to put together this little video today, really just to tell you about the guide and what's in it and why you might like it, but also to introduce myself as a real person, as a real author, and also as a fellow UC sufferer and patient. So let me talk about my journey through UC before I talk about the guide in detail. I was diagnosed in 2010 with proctitis, so a fairly mild version of ulcerative colitis. But I had a real roller coaster ride from the moment I was diagnosed. So 4 years later, I ended up having my colon removed. So I went from kind of 0 miles per hour to 100 miles per hour pretty quickly. In the past year, I had a J pouch created, and I'm now getting used to that, and it's going pretty well. It's not the same as it was before, but I'm pretty happy, and I feel now that I'm post UC. I've got over it. But as I say, in those 4 or 5 years, they were tough years for me, and I really learnt a lot along the way. So back in 2010, I was, pretty young guy, pretty active, busy life like anyone else, and I was absolutely floored by the usual UC symptoms of lots of blood and pooping for England, and I was all over the show. So I was told I had an autoimmune condition called ulcerative colitis, which I'd never heard of in my life. So I was pretty distressed by that and pretty confused. As time went on, I was put on all the usual drugs, but they just didn't work for me. Nothing apart from steroids really had any impact on my flares, which just went on really for 5 years. I then tried lots of things such as diet and probiotics, lots of alternative treatments, and I got a lot of success out of some of those. But unfortunately, time really crept up on me, and my colon just gave up. And here I am today with my J pouch. So I won't tell you any more about that because my story is all in the guide, and it's all in there in detail for you. So let me tell you about the guide itself. So the reason I wrote the guide is quite simple. When I first typed I have ulcerative colitis into Google 5 years ago, I didn't get what I was looking for. I was actually looking for a single source of information on the disease, which kind of gave me everything I needed to know and expect from having an autoimmune condition. And I actually wanted something that was written for the ulcerative colitis patient by another ulcerative colitis patient. Real honest, kind of been there and done it experience. And I just couldn't find anything. And so over the 4 years of me trying lots of different types of treatments and researching ulcerative colitis in detail, and actually researching to the point I started to know a little bit more about the disease than some of my doctors, I collected a lot of research and a lot of information and quite a few experiences along the way. So I just thought to myself, well, what the hell? If there's no book out there, I may as well write it, because someone has to. So that's exactly why I did it, and that's the book that's now available on ihaveuc.com. So let me tell you a little bit about the guide itself. It's an A to Z, really, of ulcerative colitis, and it tells you everything you really need to know about the disease, from diagnosis, through to dealing with the doctors, through to understanding the multitude of symptoms that can potentially come with this disease. And so lots of kind of the medical stuff as well. But I then go into some of the drugs, or all of the main drugs that people can be treated with, the main drug groups and their side effects and what's good, what's bad and what's ugly. But then I go into the stuff that the doctors never tell you about, and that's because they're not allowed to. So this is the alternative treatment, the alternative world of ulcerative colitis treatment. Now, a lot of this isn't proven science, but one thing we do know is that us UCers do like an alternative type of treatment, given the drugs aren't great. So I went through the major diets, and I tell you all about that. I will also tell you about probiotics in some detail, natural anti-inflammatory supplements. So a whole load of stuff around that. I also go into some of the wackier stuff, such as the fecal transplants, which is the human poo probiotic, which is sometimes known as, which I did try, I must say, in the only place in the UK you can currently get that, which was interesting. I also talk about some of the kind of fringe, slightly wackier stuff, including the helminthic therapy, which, for those of you that don't know what it is, that's treating inflammation in the gut with intestinal parasites, which sounds disgusting, I know. And I must say, I didn't try that, but I do have a lot of information on it, and there are plenty of people out there who have tried it. So I give you a whole lot of information on the alternative side. I then go into detail about surgery and what's involved there. So primarily, I'm talking to you about the J pouch and how that's created and what you can expect from becoming a J poucher. So moving from a UCer to a J poucher. Doesn't happen to all of us, happened to me. I think it possibly happens to about 30% of us, but all that information is in the book. The book is full of tips and kind of good stuff. It's, 140 pages long and about 55,000 words. So I kind of poured my heart and soul into this book and everything I've learned about the disease through those 5 years where I just had this huge roller coaster ride. So I'll let you read the book. I hope you enjoy it. If you do decide to get it, I'd be really pleased if you do, because I believe there's a lot in there that can help you. So before I go, I'd just like to say I wish you all the best of luck on your individual journeys through ulcerative colitis. And if you do decide to get my book, please make the most of it and provide any feedback you like to Adam, and I'd love to hear it. So I'll say goodbye there, because I need to use one of these bad boys. So if you don't mind, cheers.